Oh, how do I even start the show after that? How do I even start the show after that? You guys, welcome back to another episode of Crypto News with Julie Kennis. I'm your host, Julie Kennis. And if you're not over on the YouTube chat, well, I don't know what to tell you. You missed the pre-show. The pre-show to the show was happening, and I didn't even know if I was going to be able to go live because I was laughing so hard, you guys. I was laughing so hard. Peace of my mind, please do not take any of that personal. I was just being funny. It is all in good fun. You have to remember, I grew up with brothers, and so there was a lot of... I guess busting my balls. I don't have balls. They busted my balls. I don't have balls to bust, but they busted them. So I just, I didn't, I don't mean to sometimes. The words just flow and I laugh, and I hope you laugh with me. Everyone else was laughing. I'm sorry. Busted my ovaries. There you go. Peace of my mind. I apologize. I was being mean. He came looking for me. Sweet, sweet peace of my mind said, "Where are you, Julie? Are you okay?" And what kind of thanks did I give him? First, I asked him if he was feeling gay because he sent rainbow hearts in the chat. And then when I heard his feelings, I asked him if he licked it. Seemed like a appropriate thing to say at the time. But then I understand now why that could come across the wrong way. That's why I understand that could come across the wrong way. Hello to everyone filling in here in the chat. Thank you all for tuning in. You guys, if you don't know me, I go live every day at 1 o'clock Pacific time, getting extremely close to hitting my watch goal over on YouTube. So if you're on X, hop over to YouTube. Go join in on the fun. Maybe I will be busting your balls over on YouTube. I shouldn't even be saying balls that much. YouTube's gonna hate me for this. I'm like trying to hit a watch goal, and I was telling my mom about how, I need to avoid certain topics. Such as someone suggested yesterday I should live stream myself washing my car in a bikini. And I'm like, well, but the way Julie is, now I'm reading Peace of My Mind's comment, I'm saying. The way that the algorithm works, though, is if it detects stuff that's not good, it's going to bury you. So me coming out hot today is probably not good for the algorithm. I did. I'm sorry, Peace of My Mind. Will you forgive me? I will need to apologize in the DMs. I have a feeling. I'm sorry. It was funny at the time. It seemed... I was laughing. Just laugh with me, okay? Just laugh with me. So yeah, no, can't do the car wash. Can't live stream the car wash. YouTube would not like that. I mean, you guys would probably like that, but no one else would get to see that. And the more stuff you do that deems you inappropriate, the more in trouble you are, and the more it will not push your account out, and so on and so forth. And we're trying to get to that goal, you guys. We're trying to get to that goal. In fact, when I woke up this morning, it was 369 watch hours to go. 369. That's the closest I've ever been. It's the closest I've ever been. Make a tutorial. Make a tutorial on what? Cleaning the car? I actually did do that today. My OCD kicked in this morning after I dropped the kids off from school. And there were some parts that I wanted to kind of like clean up. An ex-subscriber exclusive, I could do that. I could make some car washing content as an ex-exclusive. And that would be good. Cooking videos. I haven't done any cooking in a while. I have not done much cooking in a while. It's been like bare minimum. Plus it's hot, and when it's hot, I just have zero desire to cook. But I think I will. I could do some more stuff. Yesterday, I rescued a frog from the pool. Piece of my mind told me that that frog was good luck, good fortune. So hopefully it was. Hopefully it was. I did rescue a frog from the pool. People were getting aggressive in the comments though. One person was like, why are you rescuing the frog from the pool? And another person was like, well, the chemicals will kill the frog. And then someone else was, you know, freaking out about my dog being around the frog. You guys, it's social media. It doesn't matter what I post. I rescue a frog from the pool and people are hating on me from rescuing the frog from the pool. It had herpes. Don't kiss it. This frog did not get kissed. It did not. He did not. He was a cute frog, though. He was cute. He had nice little dappling on his back. It was probably poisonous. I probably should have licked it. Isn't that what you do? You like lick those frogs and then you like trip balls. Now I'm saying balls again. YouTube, I apologize. I apologize in advance. I have a favorite word of the day, you guys. And who would have guessed it is balls? Oh my God, I'm never going to get monetized. So since we're on this topic, you guys look at how cute my little dress is. I'm going to show you guys my little dress. So I am absolutely in love with this little dress. Now let me tell you what I don't love about this little dress. It's a tennis dress and I love it because it's soft, it's flowy, it feels cute. I love it. I feel cute in it. I love it, except for when I have to go to the bathroom because it's all one piece, right? So this is my complaint because now I have a rant. Every time I go to the bathroom, well, I guess it's two rants. One, when I wear an outfit like this, I end up totally naked in whatever bathroom I'm in because you have to take the whole outfit off to even go to the bathroom. Number two, when you put the outfit back on, there's like built-in bra pads and they're not like sewn in. And so every time I pull it back up, it wants to fold over. So it's not just, oh, go to the bathroom and go about your day. It's go to the bathroom and then fix your loppy boob. And so I think it takes me twice as long to fix the loppy boob after if the bra pad folds over. Sometimes I'm lucky and I get over all of the curves with no booby pad floppage, but the booby pad floppage has been a thing for me today. But I feel cute and I look cute in my new car in this outfit, and that's really what matters. So I will fight the loppy boob look to look cute in my new car and my dress. So anyway, I sold you already without the loppy boob. Oh, Poe Man, thank you. I figured you guys would enjoy that. I figured you'd enjoy that. So, as you guys know, I'm super excited about my new car. Obviously, I'm dressing. Got to have the fit to go look fly in my new car. And it's the whole aesthetic thing. It'll be the hot mom dropping my kids off at school. And let me tell you, I don't know if I've told you guys this before, but if you haven't heard it here before, I'm going to tell you now. In elementary school, there's a lot of hot moms because the moms are still young. But by the time you get to middle school, there's a lot less hot moms, right? These women have been moms for like 13 years now. Life has worn on them. Okay, now get to high school. When you get to high school, there's even less hot moms. There's even less hot moms. So I have always wanted to be the hot mom. Like, to me, it's like just a priority. Because in elementary school, it was tough. There was stiff competition. I mean, it's crazy out there. It's crazy out there. But by the time you get to high school, it's like the women they've given up. Nobody's running anymore. They're barely running their household, let alone running around the block and getting exercise. So it's just it's just a little easier to be the hot mom. And I just want to keep being the hot mom. So right now, my daughter's in high school, but my son still has a ways to go. He's in 6th grade. So he still has 3 more years till I can make it to be the hot mom in high school again. So they get back. You know, there's multiple things. Like, obviously women have hormone issues that happen as they get older. But you know, it's just lifestyle. You get busy with work, you get busy with life. It's easier to default to fast food, right? You know, even though you can make healthier decisions at fast food, you could go for the lettuce wrap burger. You don't need to go for the crazy big burger with the bun and the milkshake. You know, you got to have it in moderation. It's about balance. So, but I digress, you guys. Today I was dressing for the car, for the fit, for the look, and now I'm fighting a loppy boob every time I go to the bathroom. And these are the sacrifices us moms have to make if we want to be the cute mom. It is. So, anyway, you guys, that is the intro for today's show. We do have a banger. Mike Volmer, how do I move on after that comment comes through? Half of my exes got fat. Wouldn't even touch them now. I think that's true for a lot of men as they get older, though. I think it's true for a lot of men as they get older. Yeah. You know, I don't think it's any easier. Like, when I was trying to search on dating sites, I think I've talked to you guys about this before. When I've tried to search on dating sites, because I'm, you know, an older single woman. Older? Am I older? I don't know if I'd call myself older. I guess I'm not 20 anymore, right? So, but here's the problem, is the men on the dating sites, they like to lie about their age. Like, when I was young and I would lie about my age to get into the clubs, these guys are lying about their age to try to get with the Cubs. So I'll be like scrolling and I'm like, why do all these men look so old? Well, the dating site will give you 10 years up and 10 years down. And I never have any trouble with it. Young men love an older woman. I don't know why, but I won't date a younger man. So then it's like, so then my options are to date up. They're to date up. Okay. So, but then I look at them all and they're old. They're like, they're balding, they've got beer bellies, and you know, they take a picture and it's all double chin, and I'm like, none of this looks attractive to me. And then you put on top of it where I live. Okay, I'm like into crypto, I like to travel, I'm a little more of a city girl, but then I live like in the country where guys drive pickup trucks and shoot guns and listen to country, and you know, you and me going fishing in the dark type shish. I'm not trying to go fishing in the dark type shish. Okay. I want to be in a comfy hotel bed if I'm on vacation, not on like an air mattress and tent or in an RV. I'm not trying to pretend to be homeless. Not trying to pretend to. You want to go hike? I'll go hike with you during the day. But when the sun starts to set, I want to go home. I want to shower and I want to climb in bed and be comfy. Skinny dipping with Julie. You guys, we're never gonna get to crypto. I had this house. The last house I owned had this amazing, massive pool. Right. And then the kid's dad still lived in the state. So the kids would go see their dad like every other weekend, spent half the summer with them. And so they were gone a lot. I had a lot of time with this big house with this big pool before my daughter got really sick. And because it was mine, all mine, I mean, we were skinny dipping. I was skinny dipping by myself. I'd have the music cranked up. It would be freaking daytime. I didn't even care. I don't need it to be nighttime. I'll go skinny dipping in the daytime. Now, the next door neighbor though was this guy named Frank, and Frank was an older guy and he was single, and I'm fairly certain he was probably looking out his window if he ever knew to look outside. If he ever knew that that was what I did. Piece of my mind said you don't have to worry about floppy boobs when you're skin dipping. No, you don't. Boobs float. Boobs float. Everybody's perky in water. It's amazing. Amazing times to be had. So guys, there's no current skinny dipping situation going on at my house. It's very on display on a golf course. Many people, many neighbors, 2-story neighbor. It's very, my last house was private. I had big trees, a big yard, lots of privacy. So, you know, if I was in the pool frolicking around, you might get like a glimpse, like a just quick little glimpse. But where I am right now, like it's the full on display. It's full on display. So it's just not going to happen where I'm at now. Not going to happen where I'm at now. Anyway. So now that was the intro for today's show, you guys. As always, this show is powered by the Gokhshtein News Network. It's amazing they have not pulled that title from me yet. Shout out to David Gokhshtein. Shout out to David Gokhshtein. Definitely not saying that one, Poe Man. Definitely not touching that one. Not touching that one. But we do have a banger show to get into today. And Bitcoin decided it wanted to have a little bit of a pump. So let's go ahead and get into the crypto charts. A piece of my mind has so much faith, he just said in the comments, this show will never get monetized. Probably not. If we get monetized, you guys, it's a miracle. Okay, my calculations are right now, potentially by Monday, unless something goes askew with the numbers. But at the current trajectory, it's probably going to monetize me over the weekend, and then I'll probably be celebrating next Monday. So, but I'm like getting so close. I'm getting so close. Just wait, tips galore, Black Hat team. I hope to get all the tips. Like, what's that girl's name? What's that girl's name? The thousand guy girl. Oh, good Lord. Just the tip. Like Bitcoin, giving us this nice little green candle here, popped us up above 64,000, sitting along this little trend line with money flow in the green on Market Cipher for the majority of today. So looks good. Holding nice. I'm like, people are all starting to say we're back. And now we're at this weird part of the cycle where half of the people are like, we're not back, we're going down. And the other half are like, we're so back, we're going up. So some people are saying 60K was the bottom. That was the last bottom. All I know is what I've been watching is Cardano, because you guys know I'm dying to get in a position on that. So let's jump down and take a look at the broader ecosystem, because Ethereum has held on to looks like 1911 at the current moment. So from its 1800 channel that seemed to love and not be able to get above. From there, we also have Solana, which is pumped up. We are sitting at $77 on Solana, up about 1.5%. How much selling is actually left? Isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth, Black Hat team? Taking a look at Chainlink, because Chainlink has remained the strongest, one of the strongest in this bear market, in my opinion. And as we've talked about on the channel, some people are projecting this to go as high as 200. Whether that's this cycle or next cycle, we do know we topped around 23, 24 on Chainlink last bull market. So we should expect potentially to see anywhere up to as close as 100. I don't know if we'll quite get to 100, guys. I think we're going to get a lot of pressure. But who knows? You know, I would have never expected Solana to blow beyond 200 the way it did, not once, but twice. So these things can happen. XRP sitting back at $1. Love to see it back above 99 cents. Sui is sitting at 65 cents. Somebody was saying earlier, is Sui dead? No, Sui's not dead. Sui will be coming back along with everything else, including Cardano, even though Sui's down 3%, probably one of the biggest losers that we're looking at currently on the daily. But Cardano down to 17 cents, down to 17. Look at that, almost to 16. So getting myself in position on that because I definitely want to get myself back in a better position on Cardano because I know there's more stuff being built out on Cardano. Cardano's Vesper wallet, I use the Vesper wallet on Cardano, and of every wallet I've used on every chain, Vesper wallet is the most fun to trade on. The way that they've almost like gamified the buying and selling of the tokens, it makes you want to trade. And so I like Vesper. I like Vesper. All right, let's move on and take a look at the top 100 because crypto bubbles are looking green. We are looking green. Yeah, everyone's a mod in a channel on this channel. You can't put yourself in a timeout because everyone will end up in a timeout. That's just how it works. We're going to go down together, guys. We are going down together. Oh, you use Lace. When I was talking to people about Cardano wallets, Lace was the one that came up second most in terms of like what people recommended. And so, but that's usually what I do whenever I'm looking to try a new wallet on a new chain. I will usually ask, and then I will take the most common answers, and then I'll like look at a couple of the 2 or 3 most common responses, and then I make a decision on like which one to get into based off of like what it seems like the majority of people are on. Because I want to get one that like I know that a lot of people use, one that is like people speak highly of. And so usually I can pull people on X and they'll, give me a pretty good idea of what to go with. But Vesper came up number 1 and I think Lace came up number 2 and I ended up going with Vesper. I can't remember why. But I've been pretty happy with it. So anyway, top 100, looking good, looking good. All right, so we do have some news to get into, but let's go ahead and take a break and hear some words from our sponsors over at Personas.
Social media taught us how to post, scroll, and react, but not always how to truly remember. Our most meaningful memories are everywhere, hidden in camera rolls, old messages, voice notes, and forgotten folders. Personas brings those memories together, creating a living memory profile you can keep adding to as life goes on. Photos, voice clips, videos, and personal stories become the foundation of a Personas, built from real memories. The people who know you best can add the moments only they remember. Stories, photos, voice notes, and milestones. With memory requests, nothing is added without approval. Every story is reviewed, accepted, and preserved with care. Personas is different by design, not built for attention, but built for meaning, connection, and legacy. It is not about replacing someone. It is about preserving the voice, wisdom, and love they chose to leave behind. A Personas can grow through every chapter, from childhood to family to future generations, still adding to the story. This is Personas, a new way to share who we are, remember who we love, and keep stories connected. Personas, built for memories, designed for connections.
Oh, Piece of My Mind says that Personas Julie was never mean to him. I'm sorry, Piece of My Mind. I'll be nice to you, I promise. I was just being funny. You can hit me with the other hearts. Hit me with the other hearts next time. And then I won't have to bust your balls, but that's what we do. I had to. You can't do that gay shit around me and not expect me to say something about a Piece of My Mind. That's how we are. That's what we do. No, I'm just kidding. Oh my gosh. Sponsors, I apologize. Again, it's my mouth and I can't. I am. Yeah, that's what you're here for. There are so many channels that talk about crypto. It gets boring. And finance can be, let's be real. Finance is like one of the most boring subjects. Absolutely. And so if we're not having a good time over here, why would you even show up? Because there's plenty of other channels where you can go and hear boring finance stuff. There's plenty of other channels that talk about boring finance stuff. We're going to be fun over here. Piece of My Mind just knows he's getting me all fired up. So now he's just poking the bear. That's okay. You're allowed to do that. All right, you guys, we do have some breaking news to get into. So let's dive into it. Article do I have pulled up here? Yes, here we go. Okay. Federal prosecutors blast ex-Celsius CEO motion to vacate as without merit. So Celsius ex-CEO Alex Mashinsky is still behind bars and trying to find ways to free himself, much like our friend Sam Bankman-Fried. So let's dive into it. In an effort by Alex Mashinsky, the former CEO of now defunct cryptocurrency lending platform Celsius, to convince federal court to vacate his 12-year sentence for fraud and market manipulation, faces pushback from U.S. prosecutors in the Southern District Court of New York. So in a Friday filing, the SDNY attorney James McDonald and assistant U.S. attorney Allison Nichols said that the court should deny Mashinsky's petition to vacate his conviction and sentence, saying that many of his legal arguments were without merit and pushing back against the claims of an ineffective assistance for counsel. So the former CEO informed the court in May that he would be proceeding pro se, that would be representing himself in this case. I always love it when people think they can go to court and represent themselves. In a filed motion to vacate, including claims about the cryptocurrency exchange FTX and his former colleague, the company's chief revenue officer, Ronan Cohen-Pavon. So Mashinsky has not even submitted a sworn declaration in support of these baseless allegations, and his petition should be denied without a hearing for further fact-finding, said prosecutors, adding he presents his litany of complaints, blaming others for problems at Celsius, and rehashing the evidence presented at his hearing. Although Mashinsky stopped short of claiming that he is factually innocent, he blames his lawyers for failing to press certain arguments on his behalf. So, and this is why I always think it's funny when people try to represent themselves in court. He's not even following proper due process, which he needs to. The prosecutors are the ones saying that this needs to be denied because he's not even filing the next motion correctly. So, as of Tuesday, the judge overseeing the case has not responded to the federal prosecutor's filing. Mashinsky was sentenced back in May of 2025 to 144 months in prison, having pled guilty to commodities fraud and securities fraud related to manipulative and deceptive devices. So let's see. Celsius was one of a slew of crypto companies that filed for bankruptcy back in 2022 amid a market downturn, starting with the collapse of Terraform Labs. Authorities indicated Mashinsky and Cohen Pavlon in 2023, and both subsequently pled guilty. So the former CEO was ordered to pay $48 million in forfeiture and sentences and agreed to pay $10 million as part of a separate settlement with the U.S. FTC. So this is really what Sam Bankman-Fried is looking up against. If he continues to try and file, which if he retains attorney, I feel like he has a better shot of getting off. But Mashinsky here is trying to represent himself, and you just can't do that. Like, passing the bar is not easy. Kim Kardashian thought, oh, she's going to go become an attorney like her dad and just pass the bar. And after 3 times of not passing, she gave up because it's hard. It's not that easy. And these people, these criminals usually think that they can just defend themselves in court, and it's usually to their own detriment. You're better off just taking some sort of like public defender than trying to represent yourself. So, and then, yeah, he had a lot of money. So if his attorneys weren't doing their job, to me, that's on him, because I come from a line of attorneys, and let me tell you, a good attorney knows what they're doing. So if you're not, yeah, I'm going to put it back on him. That's a him problem. Good luck to Mashinsky. All right. Let's move on to the next article. Kraken's Crack debuts a U.S. debit card as Payward broadens financial services push. So the multi-asset card allows U.S. customers to spend crypto and fiat and earn cash back as Kraken's parent company expands across financial services. So this is where we're starting to see DeFi moving into more of a TradFi, whereas for the most part, it's really been the other way around. We're really seeing the majority of TradFi coming in and taking up crypto and the crypto infrastructure. And so this is really seeing how Kraken is expanding to just everyday debit card usage. So Kraken's payment app Crack has launched a multi-asset debit card in the US, allowing customers to spend crypto and fiat while earning up to 2% cash back in dollars or Bitcoin, which is huge. Who doesn't want 2% back in Bitcoin? If you were already going to put gas in your car, why wouldn't you put gas in your car using a Kraken card and get 2% back in Bitcoin? The card supports more than 600 currencies and assets and holdings converted into US dollars at the point of sale. A single purchase can draw from multiple balances and users setting the order in which assets are spent, according to the announcement on Tuesday. The card is issued by Lead Bank on Visa's network and powered by Stripe, issuing with a physical and a virtual version available eligible to U.S. customers. The company said that cashback rates depend on average assets held across Crack, Kraken, and Kraken Pro. Crack is positioning the card as an alternative to credit-based reward programs. A Morning Consult survey of 2001 U.S. adults commissioned by Crack found that 42% of credit card holders worry about paying off their monthly balance, while 60% of respondents said that they would switch to a debit card offering rewards without taking on debt. Kraken's consumer payment of money and payments app has issued more than 135,000 multi-asset cards across the UK and European Economic Area since launching in December of 2025. So, Payward eyes a broader financial services push, and Payward has set its sights on expanding its financial services product line. So the co-CEO of Kraken's parent company discussed the broader strategy on Tuesday at the Wyoming Blockchain Symposium, including its push into additional asset classes and financial services. As you start expanding into multiple asset classes, you're generally going to be less susceptible to very specific market terms. He added that Payward now offers banking services and described tokenization as a large part of the company's broader efforts to expand its financial offerings. He also compared the company's ambitions with those of major traditional financial institutions, saying that the company needs to build products and services not too different from a JP Morgan or financial institutions. So there you have it. They are starting to move into traditional finance. Oh, geez. I don't know what you guys are talking about, Poman, but I'm going to think that you're talking about cucumber water. I love cucumber water. Cucumber water is amazing. All right, let's move on before I say other things to get myself in trouble. Cypherpunk launches Zcash mining fleet controlling 18% of the network's hash rate. The $33.3 million Winklevoss capital deal expands Cypherpunk's Zcash strategy as targets of 5% ownership and the cryptocurrency's circulating supply. So let's dive into it. Cypherpunk Technologies is expanding its footprint into the Zcash ecosystem, launching what it says is the world's largest Zcash mining operation after acquiring a mining fleet from Winklevoss Capital, signaling a growing institutional interest in the privacy-focused network. Cypherpunk said Tuesday that it acquired the fleet through an equity-based transaction valued at $33.33 million. The mining operation is already online in facilities across the United States, producing 4.2 G SOL, or about 18% of the Zcash network hash rate. If the company's figures are accurate, the transactions give a single publicly traded company a significant share of Zcash's mining capacity. The expansion adds mining to Cypherpunk's existing Zcash holdings, which currently stands at 323,394 Zk, representing about 2% of the cryptocurrency circulating supply. The company has set a target of eventually holding 5% of the Zk supply. So Cypherpunk has pitched Zcash mining as offering more attractive economics than Bitcoin mining or AI data center workloads and current market condition. However, those economics depending heavily on factors including Zk's price, network hash rate, mining difficulty, and operating costs. So the push follows a sharp rise in Zk during the second half of 2025, when renewed interest in privacy-focused cryptocurrencies helped propel assets higher. And we saw a huge push towards privacy-related coins, whether it was Zcash, whether it was Monero, whether we were talking about the launch of Midnight, whether we were talking about privacy swaps like with Silent Swap. There has been such a huge focus on privacy, and I think that's going to continue. In fact, I think this is a huge move by Cypherpunk, because at the end of the day, if everyone's looking at Bitcoin mining, if everyone's looking at AI computational power, no one's really looking at Zcash, and I think it's smart to look where no one else is really looking. So, Ironwood, upgrade address, risk Zcash Shield protocol. Yeah, I don't want to read that. Okay. Let's move on to the next article. Since I've been out looking at cars, car shopping. You guys, let me tell you about my car, because, you know, my last couple of cars have been Lexus. I went from the ES350 to an ES300H. And between those two cars, I had both of them about each car almost 10 years, like really long time. I was really scared to move away from it because Lexus is so reliable to me. And as you guys know, Lexus and Toyota, they are one of the same. But let me tell you, in my car, there's so many bells and whistles on it. There's so much. I feel so bougie in it. I'm like, now I know why when I would talk about Lexus, other people would be like, yeah. Well, because other cars had so much more going on with it. And Lexus, for even the comparable year, I'm like, this is just crazy. This is crazy. Anyway. Let's dive into it, because Toyota Finance is looking at opening tokenized bonds to retail investors via the mobile payment app. Retail investors can apply to buy the 1 billion yen bond with securities account and receive perks through Toyota's payment app. So let's dive into it. Toyota's finance arm is launching tokenized bonds that retail investors can buy directly through the Japanese car maker's mobile app, Toyota Wallet. Toyota Finance said Tuesday that applications have opened for the 1-year bond with investments starting at 100,000 Japanese yen or $676. The new bond will be distributed directly by Toyota Finance, allowing investors to buy it without opening a securities account. The 1 billion yen bond carries a 1.72% annual interest rate and will be managed on the blockchain infrastructure provided by Japanese security token firm Boostry. The car maker said that the direct distribution model will allow it to integrate applications, communications with bondholders, and investors' benefits with the same ecosystem. Investors may also receive Toyota Wallet balances and qualify for benefits including Fuji Speedway tickets, test drive experiences, including Lexus and select classic Toyota vehicles. The offering is Toyota Finance's second security token bond, offering its debut into issuance in March of 2025, which sold through securities companies. So it must have been a successful launch for them the first time because they are looking to do it again. I don't know, you guys. I'm really happy with my new car, but I do love Lexus. I would have looked at them more closely this time if I wasn't so worried about them spying on me. But now that I know the way that they're spying, I don't want any part of it. All right, let's go ahead and move on to this article here. I know sometimes when I pull videos up, there's a little bit of a sound discrepancy. So I push this one to the end so that way we could pull it up and listen to it without the sound being too messed up. All right, let's hear it.
Coin prices and the latest on the Clarity Act. We're joined now by Anthony Scaramucci, Skybridge Capital founder, managing partner. Joins us from Wyoming's Blockchain Symposium. Good morning to you. Before we get into all of the sort of big policy choices and thoughts, I'm just curious what you actually think of Bitcoin and the price of Bitcoin. We used to talk, Anthony, about Bitcoin and whether it was going up or down all the time. It was this, it becomes sort of our signal of a risk on versus risk off. And it hasn't really moved much around in quite a while. And I'm curious sort of what you think that means.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of different interpretations. I mean, I think my basic one is, and again, I'll just point out what you're saying is true, Andrew, because it's been 9 weeks where Bitcoin is in the tightest volatility band that it's been in the last 5 years. So it really hasn't moved much at all. I mean, when the war started in February, it was roughly the same price that it is today. So it's been grinding, but I think there's 3 things going on. One is a lot of the miners have transferred compute power over to AI, which disrupted the hash rate. I don't want to be overly technical with people, but I think that muted some of the volatility. The second thing is capital fled the cryptocurrency markets, in addition to Bitcoin, other tokens in the cryptocurrency markets into AI. And then I think the third thing is if you're a 4-year cycle believer, like most people are in crypto, Bitcoin now is getting towards that end of what we would typically see the bear market of Bitcoin in the 4-year cycle. So we're now through 2 years, and we're about 18 or 19 months away from the next halving. So all of those factors, I think, have muted Bitcoin's price. But I guess the real question is, are we still bulls on Bitcoin? And the answer is resoundingly yes. I think as the halving cycle comes in again and we cut the supply of coins again, it will tighten price, and I think you'll see the thing move back up over 100,000. But it's going to grind for a while, Andrew, and people don't like that.
Is there a catalyst, though, that would make it move higher? I understand your catalyst is sort of the supply story on it, but is there anything else in the financing space that would be a catalyst on the upside? And one of the things that I was going to say might be a catalyst on the downside, but I don't know, is I think there's been more pressure to bear, at least thought these days, around quantum computing and the potential for, maybe you disagree with this, but I keep hearing from people who are now talking more about what that means in cybersecurity and the ability to potentially break some of these algorithms longer term.
Well, I mean, I'll address that briefly. I think the core developers in Bitcoin will be able to figure that out. There's a lot of different ways that can be treated. I do understand why that would be an idea of worry for a retail investor that hasn't done as much research on Bitcoin as people at Skybridge have done. So I don't see that as the overall risk. But I think you're bringing up an even bigger point. What is the catalyst? And I don't see a near-term catalyst, frankly, other than that supply-demand differential. Moreover, I don't think the Clarity Act, should it pass, and maybe it's 50-50 that it will. I mean, that was Senator Tim Scott is here with Senator Cynthia Lummis, and they still believe they can get this passed in September.
Okay, so this is why I brought this whole bit up, is because they're at the blockchain symposium in Wyoming, which, as you guys know, Cynthia Lummis is a senator from Wyoming. So the fact is, although they're technically at a recess in Washington, D.C. at the moment, all of these members of office are currently sitting at a Wyoming blockchain symposium. So my questions are, like, this is going on. The Clarity Act is being stalled. The CFTC and the SEC are wanting to still come out with regulations. And then we can see here that there's basically this closed-doored conference going on, which, in my opinion, is probably stuff that affects us. But they're giving us this stupid fluff of a freaking answer on national television about what's really going on over here.
That might be a tiny catalyst, but I don't see that as being a big catalyst either. So this is a grinding situation.
Well, that's interesting. Why wouldn't it be? Because this is the bill that the industry has been trying to push for to try to get some clarity for quite some time. Explain it to the audience. Why I would have thought that having this bill would be a big boon to the business.
Well, I think long term it would be a very big bill. You have to read through the bill and recognize what's going on. And basically, put simply, there'll be a lot of access opportunities for banks, and there'll be a lot of changes in the way you can hold your Bitcoin in the United States. And it would remove this sort of pendulum swing of regulation between Republican regulation and Democrat regulation. And all those things are good things. But I again, this is just my opinion. It is a contrarian opinion, by the way. You could bring another person on. They'll say, oh, no, the Clarity Act will be like a rocket ship for Bitcoin. But remember, our team is looking at it every day, and we're looking at the flows. And the good thing about Bitcoin, because it's on the blockchain, you can see all the activity. And so I'm just saying, yes, if it passes, it's great for us long term.
Okay. So 1, he doesn't care if it goes up. 2, he likes that it's a surveillance tool.
Andrew, and obviously I really do want to see it pass, but I'm not the perma bull where I'm just going to tell you nonsense on television. I think it will go higher over time as the supply-demand differential changes once again. But again, 37 years doing this, 9 bear markets. This is a clear Bitcoin bear market, and yet we've only had a 55% drop in Bitcoin, where in other bear markets, Andrew, you've gotten like a 75, 80% drop. So weirdly, you could take a position where that's actually a good sign that there's a lot of net buyers going into the next bull phase of Bitcoin.
Okay, I'm going to throw, I don't know if there's going to be a proverbial grenade into this conversation, but as somebody who has been an advocate for crypto for a long time, I'm curious what you made of the headline that World Liberty Financial, which of course is owned by the Trump family, has been conditionally given permission to become a bank. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I don't really think that's that big of a grenade. I mean, that was like not even an M80. I mean, listen, if they become a bank, it's not really that big of a deal for the overall market. I guess what you have to ask the question of what is the president's family allowed to do and what are they not allowed to do? And whatever my disagreements are with the president, I don't think it's fair to take his family members who are business people and tell them, well, your dad's the president, so you can no longer transact in business. So I do not think that that's fair. Having said that, because they are the president's children, it has to be looked at carefully just to make sure that they're not great conflicts of interest. But I don't like the nonsense of people being in public service where we've got to extra scrutinize their children. That's me. So I don't know. It was sort of an M80. Try another one, Andrew. Get it?
So now it's coming more clearly into focus why Trump has kind of stepped away from some of the crypto ventures that he's been involved in, because ultimately now it's moving away from being DeFi into moving a traditional finance with DeFi rails. Again, World Liberty Finance got all of its money from the Trump token sale. The Trump meme coin launched, and when the liquidity was pulled out of that liquidity was then put into World Liberty Finance in the form of stable coins for reserves. And then they opened up to do the pre-sale for accredited investors at 5 cents per World Liberty Finance token. All right, let's finish watching this and then we'll take a look at some more stuff.
Get a bigger grenade out. Try another one.
I wasn't trying. I didn't know where you were going to go with it, so that's why I sort of teed it up that
I'm
way.
a capitalist.
I understand.
Ken Langone is one of my mentors. I love capitalism.
Is whether you think that the crypto community, I mean, the idea that a lot of these crypto companies are going to get bank charters and what that ultimately does to the business longer term.
Well, listen, if the Clarity Act passes, you have money center banks, regional banks, community banks that will all be in that same position. And so, I'm predicting, should Clarity pass, you'll see that convergence. You'll see many of the cryptocurrency companies. I don't want to speak for Coinbase or others, but I think it would be prudent for them to get banking licenses. And the World Liberty situation could be a tell. They're looking at the situation and saying, well, maybe this thing passes.
All right. So it's a mess, right? I would use other terminology, but then YouTube will really hate me. So let's come back here. World Liberty Finance tokens currently trading at 6 cents. 6 cents. So any accredited investor who bought in and was in at 5 cents, they're have basically always been up on their initial investment. In addition to the fact that all of that money was basically pulled from the Trump meme coin. The Trump meme coin does pump on random occasion, but again, I think that is just regular people who think of the novelty of it, who like Trump just because it's Trump, who want to buy in on the novelty of it. But the people who were here in crypto, who knew what was going on, who were like, well, wait a minute, because we all were, even a year ago, it was at $9. Remember, it was like at 33. This was at $33. He pulled all the liquidity out, put it into World Liberty Finance. We basically, the U.S. meme coin traders, or meme coin traders in general, bankrolled Trump to open his own bank. Is what's happened. That is what's happened. So Trump stepped away. World Liberty Finance goes mainstream. It becomes an actual traditional finance bank, while others are now going to follow suit because, of course, people like Coinbase, why wouldn't they open a bank now? They're already pretty much a bank. So they're already the majority of the way there. So it's good stuff, guys. The Clarity Act, so following that up, there's supposed to be more discussions, not the Clarity Act, but I'm sure whatever's going on at the Wyoming Symposium right now, which is all of these government officials who are meeting right now at this blockchain symposium in Wyoming, are probably making the decisions about the CFTC, the SEC, and how they're going to tokenize stocks. Because at the end of the day, that's really what traditional finance wants the most. Okay, I think there's two things traditional finance really wants with crypto. One, traditional finance does not want to pay out stablecoin yield. They do not like the idea of having to share any money whatsoever with the customers. They did away with that model a long time ago, and they don't want to go back. Number two is they just really want to be able to have this ability to be able to have the clarity around who's going to charge who with what crime. Who's going to charge who with what crime? They're painting it like, oh, it's to help innovation. But really what I think it's going to do is, okay, if there's already existing cases pending, let's say we'll use Mashinsky, for example, since we just talked about him, Celsius. Celsius at one point in time had an open case pending. And if it wasn't clear who the person was that would be charging the crime, then it would just kind of remain an open case. So it's potential that there are open cases, investigations that they're just waiting for once they get the clarity, not the Clarity Act, once they get the clarity of who can charge what with what crime, then that's when we'll start to see people get in trouble. Because remember, back in 2021, there were people getting in trouble. I remember there were college kids who went to jail for like 20 years for the NFT Frosties crime, right? They launched the NFT Frosties, rug pulled the community, and then they went to jail for 2 years. But then since then, there's been all kinds of people who have been stealing money, enriching themselves, rug pulling, launching tokens, bundling tokens, sniping everything. And nobody's been in trouble. Nobody's had any sort of charges filed, anything like that. That doesn't mean there's not cases being formed. It just means that the overseeing authority has not been clearly defined yet. And it could just be, look, we probably don't even need the Clarity Act. They could be making this decision for us, making the decision for us. Not all cryptos will survive regulations being created. That is true. That is true. That is true. I do think Bitcoin's going to go up. Scaramucci's like, yeah, it's going to be a while. But yes, the 4-year cycle, Mike Vollmer did make a comment during that video, which I think is important to note. The 4-year cycle has always kind of been the 4-year cycle, right? Like if you've been here, you've understood the bull, the bear, the timeline. And so you can see how it all works. You can kind of, even if you're not the best trader, day trader, scalper, whatever, you can still kind of understand where you're at in the market cycle to say, now's a good time to buy or now is not a good time to buy. And so the fact that Michael Saylor has just continued to print green dot after green dot, buying the top. And now we've been at the bottom for so long. He's hardly doing any buying at the bottom. You'd think he'd be bringing his cost, which he did bring his cost average down. I think he was at like 74,000, and I think he's like at 71,000 now is his average price, but he's still upside down. He's still upside down on it. Yeah, normal bear 45 to 50K. Yeah, due to the pull down. The pull down didn't come as far this time. It didn't come down as far. So whether we still have further down to go or the institutional buyers have pushed up what our minimum drawdown or our maximum drawdown is, I don't know. 100K for Bitcoin, I'm not feeling it at all. So it's just a matter of time. I mean, if Bitcoin's new bottom is around 60K and the last bottom was around 15K, and this is bottom at 60K, then Bitcoin definitely goes above 100. I mean, of course it would go back above all-time high 125. So, I mean, I think we're going to get up closer 150, 175 next bull run, this next bull run. I don't think we break 200. Definitely don't think we break 200. But once we see the bottom not go below 100K Bitcoin, I think then $1 million Bitcoin becomes more inevitable. I think a million Bitcoin will happen unless something like quantum computing happens. Quantum computing breaks it. But as Scaramucci did say at the blockchain symposium in Wyoming, they're talking about, the Bitcoin core developers are talking about what to do to protect Bitcoin from a quantum computing hack, from it being cracked. So, Blocky says, no way 60K is bottom. Yes, Blocky Bear has returned. I like it when Blocky Bear brings it. All right. Piece of my mind says I'll be dead by then. No, you won't. We've got $1 million Bitcoin coming. You just got to live to be 120. Just start pumping the peptides. They've got a peptide for everything now. They've got one for muscles. They've got one for skin. They've got some for your eyesight. You just got to pump the peptides. Pump the peptides. Yeah. No, it's if you guys follow peptides, it's a whole very interesting topic in and of itself. How the peptides work, and then the amino acids that you need to carry the peptides to your body to help absorb the proper way. And there's like all of these different things, but it's basically just taking a genetic chain of what your body currently produces, or what your young, healthy body produces. And then boom, you just recreate that. Peptides are dangerous. That's what John Legend says. You know, I will say, I think peptides are scary. I think peptides are scary. And I've done more, research on, particularly the ones I've done the most research on are GLP-1 and the Retta. Retta is a GLP-3. So I've done the GLP-1 and the GLP-3. Because the Retta is a triple antagonist, and so it does 3 different things to your body. Whereas the GLP-1 just suppresses the hunger. This one, it suppresses your hunger, it increases your metabolism, attacks like your fatty liver and things like that. But you could go down this whole rabbit hole, and then for a while it was like, people were saying that the Gila monster is where the GLP-1 came from. And then I did more research on that, thinking like, are people really taking this like toxic venom? Is it a toxic venom? So here's the thing. So somewhere along the way, people learned that the Gila monster produces this, I forget what it's called, but that particular protein is what you use to be able to, oh my gosh, to your glucose receptors. It does the things to your glucose receptors. Anyway, so for a while I was thinking, well, this makes more sense why these people in Hollywood look like they're dying from being on the GLP-1, because it's literally like a venom that they're taking. But then it comes out that, well, it's not really the Gila monster venom, but it is a chain that has been recreated from the Gila monster venom. So it's not the venom per se, but it is a synthetic version of the venom. So it's a little sketchy, right? And so then I start to wonder if this is why, like, the people get really like hollowing around their eyes. Their skin starts to get really dull. It's not just about losing weight. It's like everything it's like the life is being sucked out of people that are on it. It's like the life is being sucked out of people. And I don't know how else to explain it. Yes, you hit your target goal on the scale. I'm proud of you. You look like you're dying. I don't know. Do they want me to say something nicer? It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. And I used to think Ariana Grande was like the most beautiful woman. Like she's so gorgeous with her tan skin, her long pretty hair, and just the whole, oh my gosh. Like drugs are bad, okay? Blocky, I used to have that magnet on my fridge. That is hilarious that you just quoted that. Yes, red meat is good for you. If you guys, seriously, I think the key to health, the key to remaining young and youthful is in the Bible. I think if you practice fasting and just moderate diet, like no gluttony, that's like literally in the Bible. Like there's all of these things in the Bible. If you just really strip it all away and look at it as like a way to heal the body. I have like an actual science Bible that takes all of the fluff and the story out and just takes like the medical parts out of the Bible. And that's like a book of itself. And it's called like the Health and Science of the Bible or something like that. Anyway, it was my grandmother's book. I've started to read it, but I've been more interested in, I got into fasting probably 6 years ago. And it's just a life changer. You just feel so much better. You have energy, you have clarity, you feel alive, you feel vibrant. You can be on day 3 of fasting and wake up and be like, I want to go on a run, because there is this dump that your body does of like adrenaline once you start to like eat at your fat stores. Oh my gosh. And then I told this one woman that I was going to go on a run while I was fasting on like day 3, and she lost her freaking mind. She's like, I'm a health and nutritionist. You can't do that. That's like the worst thing you could ever do to your body. I'm like, I feel the best I've ever felt. If I didn't feel well, I wouldn't be pushing myself to go do this. And I didn't look unhealthy either. That's the other thing too. I didn't look unhealthy. But going back to the GLP-1, I do feel bad. I have a friend who she's been on it. She's been overweight most of her life and she's lost a bunch of weight and she looks really good. Oh my God, Blocky. But she's been on the GLP-1 for a while and she's starting to look really, really not healthy. I can't say anything to her because she's been judged on her body her whole life. And I can't judge her on her body now the other way. Like I've never judged her on her body being bigger. I can't judge her now on her body being too small, even though it doesn't look good. Doesn't look good. I wish they would make a GH and testosterone easy to get. Never hurt, a little help never hurt. Yeah, there's like a GHKU peptide, and I think that's supposed to be for like skin. I mean, and to me, like if this stuff clears FDA and it gets verified that like through clinical trials it works, I think it's amazing. Like, because that's like a real thing. When people get older, their skin loses elasticity. It gets a lot thinner. It's prone to tearing, scraping, cutting. You know, to be able to take something to make your skin not so like lean. Because like you see old people, their skin's like paper. It's just like paper. Like if your skin just stayed firm as you aged, you know, like older people fall and they break their hip because they've got no meat around their body to protect their bone. Their bone just breaks, their hip breaks, and then usually they break a hip and that's the end. Like it's just, usually if an old person breaks their hip within the first 12 months, they pass away. So yeah, I think if they can figure out how like certain peptides work in terms of like, you know, fixing skin and, you know, fatty liver and things like that, like, cause people have been consuming way too much alcohol for way too long. Drink beer, and the higher your blood alcohol, the chances of viruses and bacteria can live. Well, there is that. There is that. Yes. Beer makes me go like this. It makes my cheeks puff out. I love beer though. I do. I used to whoop it up. I'll be 4 years without alcohol. 4 years without alcohol. Can you believe it? So the last time I really had like a sip, I ordered a Mexican hot chocolate, not realizing they put alcohol in it. And I took a big sip of this hot chocolate and I like almost started like, you know, like the first time you ever drink a liquor and it like makes you cough and like the flavor just, ugh. Okay. That's what I did with this Mexican hot chocolate. I'm like, that is not for me. That is not for me. So, all right, you guys, that's enough jabbering for today. I'm back every day at 1 o'clock Pacific time. I'm trying to get to my watch goal, and I'm like 300 watch hours away. In fact, by hopefully Monday, we're celebrating together. So if you guys smash the subscribe, I will be back at every day at 1 o'clock Pacific time, talking about all kinds of stuff that'll probably get me banned at some point in time. But if I was offered a blood transfusion with somebody, that's scary. That's scary. A blood transfusion with some, but you know what? They do really scary transfusions. I'm not going to get into it because now you're going to make me get on another sidetrack. And I've already been talking for an hour and 10 minutes, which is crazy, you guys. It's crazy. But I'll be back tomorrow. We will get silly again. I probably won't talk about my booby pads because I'll find a better dress to wear, but I'll still be matching my car because, you know, got to go for the whole aesthetic. Got to go for the whole vibes, guys. So thank you all for tuning in. I will be back tomorrow at 1 o'clock Pacific time. I will catch you all on the next one. Bye-bye.